share a few words with you on this occasion. And I have noticed now that I've tried to count up how many weddings I've officiated, it must be around 35 or 40 by now, that it's very tempting for me during homilies, during such events, to, when I'm offering words to the couple, to stay only with the positive. To basically, at a moment of joy such as this, to primarily say, love is great. And there's nothing wrong with saying love is great. Don't get me wrong, I'll say a little bit of that today too. However, as any of us who have ever tried or are now in the process of working to sustain a healthy relationship can attest, it is not simply about love and joy. Or perhaps I should say that relationships are about a love which is more than just joy. It was very clear to me as I read the words that Katherine and Darcy sent to me about their connection that they have a deep sense of the size and complexity of love. Love is so hard to define, but it seems to me that it's something like a force, an element that holds us or moves between us and amongst us in the ties that are most dear to our hearts. And love that lasts has to be flexible. As with the Lindbergh reading you chose today, it acknowledges that love is not static and can't simply stay in one place. Love that lasts needs to move and to grow, to change through disappointments and hurt, through losses and challenges, through love's growing. Now, before I get too carried away in telling you about all of this, I should bring up a little bit about why I brought up all of this. It has to do with the fact that both of them, in their writings to me about one another and about their relationship, talked about how each of them serves sometimes as a challenge to the other. And I don't mean it as a challenge in a bad kind of way, although they may feel that way too, but they didn't write that. What they meant is that each one of them serves as a challenge to the other to be her best self. That the love that they share asks each of them not to settle for what is trite or what is easy when more is possible. Their love says, you can do better, you can be more. Your heart is larger than what you are showing right now. And it seems to me that that kind of love, a love which is rarely written of in Hallmark cards, a love that goes deeper than infatuation and smittenness and goopiness, is something that our world needs much more of, and which you two are very fortunate to have found in one another. Darcy wrote that they have a saying that they occasionally invoke in their relationship, and that saying is, I love you because of, not in spite of. I love you because of who you are, not in spite of the fact that you do the dirty dishes. I love you because you challenge me to be my best self, not in spite of that. And so part of my charge to you this day is that you remember to continue to love because of who each of you are and because of what you bring out in one another. Never forget. Darcy describes Katherine as having a pure spirit. She says there is little pretension or phoniness about her. She is real and grounded, sweet and shy, generous, astute, and sensitive. And for her part, Katherine describes Darcy as having an honest goodness and respect, a gift for connecting with people, a listening ear, and kind soul. And so I can think of nothing better to say to the two of you on your wedding day than to say, remember these qualities that you cherish in one another. Never take for granted those qualities in your beloved which you now see so clearly and cherish so deeply. And also, I would remind you that your first reading said something about being true, about being real, about making sure that you enjoy being together, that you enjoy one another's beings. And so I remind you on this day and on this occasion to enjoy being together. Darcy said that Katherine shares with her a mutual sense of play. And so I charge you to have fun together. Katherine wrote very eloquently at the end of her statement that when she was younger, when she was a child, she used to wonder, how was it that anyone, any person, would be married to the same person for their whole life? And she wondered about this, she said, because she thought two people would run out of things to talk about. And she said she doesn't have that feeling. Which brings me to my final piece of advice. Communicate constantly. Share thoughts and feelings, insights and arguments. Continue to honor your relationship with the sacrament of communication. And so you too, friends who love to play together and be together, who share such a mutual admiration for qualities in one another. Forget not your love. Forget not your admiration of one another. Forget not the challenge that you are to one another. My prayer this day is that you may continue to grow in love and respect for one another, that you may continue your friendship, and that your lives may be full of meaning, the meaning that only abiding companionship brings. Blessings on each of you. Blessings on